Yo, what is up, YouTube? I am back today with part 3 of my entire CD collection. And I'm decided to see if this works. I just have my light off, like my ceiling fan light. I had it on in the previous videos, but so far, but I'm gonna try it differently this time. I got this, I might as well just show you guys like what I actually use. So it's like this, and it's got a phone holder on it, but I can like turn up the brightness, turn it down. I just turn it down all the way, just so it's not so bright. And then I just clip it on this little sucker, adjust it, and then it's perfect. And I don't got a water bottle today, but I got a cup. So I don't know why, but whenever I do, whenever I do YouTube videos, my mouth just gets dry for some reason. Maybe it's because I'm talking so much. But anywho, I'm gonna get into part 3. And this video will most likely be 4 parts, because the next row, so what I do is I do it by rows, and it's like the first video was the first row, and so they're divided up. So I did like the first row, then the second row, say it's gonna be the third row, and then, you know, sometime I'll do the 4th row, but then there's not a 5th entire row. It's like not even half a row. So I think I'll just try to get all of that out in the next video, which will make it longer than all the other ones. But yeah, I'm just going to start with row 3. And let's start off with Jay-Z's The Blueprint. This is the Blueprint 1 from 2001, I believe. 2001. Actually, I believe this came out on 9/11. Actually, September 11th, 2001. There's actually a lot of albums that came out on September 11th. I also got the Blueprint 2. And then I also got the Black Album by Jay-Z. Now, I know he's been recently mentioned in the Epstein files and some other stuff. I'm a person where even if the person's bad, as long as I like the music, I'm one of those people who says separate the art from the artist. You know, like some people argue, oh, but you're still supporting them, like if you buy their stuff financially. Like, okay, you know, it's gonna happen either way. I just care about the music. If the person's awful, the person's awful. But if I like the music, then I like the music. Like, you know, like Rick James, for example. I really like his music, but the dude was an awful guy. He tortured a woman while on a cocaine binge. So I separate the art from the artist. Same with movie makers. I'm still a fan of Roman Polanski's movies, Woody Allen's movies, Kevin Spacey's movies, like Victor Salva. So I separate the art from the artist. If you don't do that, that's fine, but don't attack me in the comments for separating the art from the artist. Sorry about that rant, but moving on. I have Journey's Greatest Hits. I do want to get some of their studio albums, but this is all I got for right now. But I do want to get some of their studio albums, though. Not all of them, but some of them. Next up, and I stupidly put the sticker on the jewel case instead of the cover, but I do have Korn, and I've got a sticker right here because I got it, but I put it on the jewel case, which is dumb, because if this jewel case ever breaks, then I won't get the sticker because it won't peel off. But nonetheless, this is a really good album. Follow the Leader, of course, mostly known for Freak on a Leash, but also Got the Life is a really good song. Also, Children of the Corn is really awesome too. Just a really good album of the new metal genre. Not my favorite Korn album, though. I did the same thing with this, too. I covered up the album cover. I don't know why. I covered up most of the album cover with this sticker. I got these a few years ago, and I stupidly did this, but this is Untouchables by Korn. I want to get more of their studio albums, especially the, up through issues. I want to get all those. But, I stupidly covered up, most of the album cover with this fucking sticker. But it's a good album nonetheless. And next up, I have Hot Fuss by The Killers. I don't have the back thing that has the track listing or has a spine, but I do have this right here. And then I have the actual CD. Really good, kind of a power pop rock band from the early 2000s. They very much remind me kind of like a modern day version of the Cars, kind of. Which, ironically enough, Brandon Flowers, the lead singer, actually was the one to was the induction presenter for them getting inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, so I thought it was kind of ironic. But they do sound like the Cars quite a bit. They probably took a major influence. But yeah, that's a good album. I also want to get Sam's Town eventually. Next up, I have, this is part of the remasters, but I have Destroyer by Kiss. I want to get pretty much all their albums, but they've got like 20 albums, and I only have, like, studio album wise, I've only got like, shit, 3 probably. So, but this is a really good album. Obviously, mostly known for Detroit Rock City. God of Thunder is a really good song too. I'm not a fan of the song Beth. I know a lot of people like it, and that's fine if you do. Like, it's totally fine. But I just never was a fan of the song Beth. I don't know why. And I like ballads. Like, I'm not saying that because it's a ballad, but I do like ballads. But I don't know. I just never cared for Beth, I guess. Next up, I have Kiss, Lick It Up, and another one I have a sticker for. But I actually put it on the cover this time though. But and I made sure to put it somewhere where it's not like covering up anything major, at least. So it's just covering their crotches, I guess. In my opinion, I do love Kiss, like, in their makeup and their masks, but musically, like, just music based on alone, I definitely prefer the Unmasked era, and this is probably my favorite of the Unmasked era, besides probably Asylum, I'd say. Asylum is really good, and Animalize. Even like Hot in the Shade, which a lot of people don't like, I think is really good. But yeah, this is a good album. Obviously the title track is phenomenal. Fits Like a Glove is a really good song. Opens up with like a nice hard rock riff. Next up I have, for studio albums, Carnival of Souls, The Final Sessions. That came out in 1990, was it 1997 this came out? I was right, 1997. Because the year after they did Psycho Circus. And then I got some compilations from Kiss. Like, I got Smashes, Thrashes, and Hits. And then I got You Wanted the Best, You Got the Best of Kiss. They probably have, like, the record for the band with the most amount of greatest hits albums or collections. Like, I mean it. Like, they got so much. Not saying it's a bad thing, but... And then I got the best of Kiss, the Millennium Collection 20th Century Masters. And then I have Kiss MTV Unplugged. And then I also have Kiss Alive 3. These were like given to me as like gifts. By the way, the Kiss Alive albums are like some of the best live albums. Well, that feels good. Next up, I got the Best of Kansas. Really, I really only like 2 songs by Kansas, which is Carry On Wayward Son and Dust in the Wind. Maybe I should give these other songs a try, though. You know, I'm always open to try new things, whether it be music, movies, food. Y'all are gonna make fun of me. So y'all are gonna make fun of me for this shit. So this is kind of like a guilty pleasure band. And musically, they're actually pretty good, but just vocally and lyrically, they're really fucking stupid. But I do got Significant Other by Limp Bizkit. Has a sticker on the sleeve. The music is just really again, musically they're not bad. Like, Wes Borland is a really good guitar player. John Nato is a really good drummer. John Nato. And I like the the DJ, like scratchy like discs and like all the DJ electronic stuff. Not a big fan of Fred Durst rapping, if you can even call it that, but I do like to go like, give me something to break. Like, I kind of like to make fun of it, kind of. But yeah, you can make fun of me for that all you want. And then I got New Old Songs by Limp Bizkit. This is a okay, that's a remix album. Okay. I've never even really looked at it before, so it's whatever. You can make fun of me for this one too, but I got The Fame by Lady Gaga. I like stuff outside of rock and metal. You know, I've met people like that, like on Facebook groups, you know, whenever I talk about like my guilty pleasure artists or like artists outside of the genre that I like. There was one comment from like this like one dude whose like profile picture was like him looking all bro, looking all tough, and he was like, "You must be gay for liking that shit." And one of them was like Lady Gaga. I really like. He was like, "You must be gay" or some shit. And I just replied to him saying, "Dude, look at your profile picture. You're trying way too hard to look like you're tough, but you're like a pussy." But yeah, I like Lady Gaga. This album is actually really awesome too. What's like a known song on here? I don't think this has any like her super duper biggest hits. Just Dance, I guess, and Poker Face are like two of her biggest hits. But Brown Eyes is really good too. The closing track Summer Boy is really good. Lady Gaga's good. She always felt like I don't know. I don't really know how to say it, but she's just awesome. Next up is one of my favorite bands of all time and one of my favorite bands from the 2000s, and that is Linkin Park. I got Hybrid Theory here from the year 2000. Obviously, this album is phenomenal. I mean, you open up with Paper Cut, and then like you know what you're getting into. One Step Closer is awesome. And you know, I will say probably my least favorite song on here, and this might sound crazy, is Crawling, but it's still a good song, and that tells you that says a lot. In the End is their most popular song, and for good reason. It's really good. Forgotten is a really good song too as well. Runaway. So yeah, this album is just awesome. I love it. And then I've got the remix with Jay-Z, Reanimation. I believe it was Jay-Z. Correct me if I'm wrong. I can't remember if it was Jay-Z or not. Because I'm really kind of like, it's late kind of. And my mind is, I don't know. Today was a stressful day at work, so I apologize if I kind of have like some brain fog, brain fart. But this is a really good like remix album of Hybrid Theory. Next up is my favorite Linkin Park album, and probably majority of people's favorite, besides Hybrid Theory, but Meteora. And my favorite song on here is Don't Stay, the second track. I just like how it opens up with that, and then it goes into and then just goes just awesome. And then Chester Bennington goes from that, sometimes I need you to stay away from me, like he just goes from to yeah. Other great songs on here, Somewhere I Belong is a really nice like touching song. Faint is really good too. Figure .09. Breaking the Habit is a really nice like softer song. Numb, the closing track, and probably their second most popular song is also really good too. This whole album, in my opinion, is honestly all killer, no filler. And there's not a whole lot of albums like that, to be honest. Next up is the last album to be like, honestly, this is gonna be like the last album for me that's A tier or higher. For if I personally had to say, like Hybrid Theory and Meteor are both S tier. Minutes to Midnight is an A plus. I just think that's not as strong as the first two, but I mean, Wake is a really good song. Given Up is easily in my top 5 Linkin Park songs. That is like probably their heaviest song. I mean, Chester, I mean, like, you know, he just, it's more harsher, but then, you know, it gets to that dun, 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 and then he does that like that freaking long scream, and then he's like, pull me out of my misery, and then he does like that 17-second long, like high-pitched scream, and then goes right back into regular singing afterwards. Like that man was so talented, and he was taken away from us way too soon. And, you know, I've had some people tell me, you didn't know them, like, why are you crying? Well, I may have never known him, but it's the music. It's the music that you connect with. Same thing with Three Doors Down. Even though I said I was never, like, the hugest fan of, like, their entire discography, the songs that I mentioned that I really like by Three Doors Down, like, Here Without You, Kryptonite, When I'm Gone, like, you know, I connected with them. And also, Brad Arnold, I mean, you know, I'm a Christian as well, and hearing him like giving testimonies and scriptures and everything at his concerts was really special, you know. And he seemed like such a humble guy. Whenever he was diagnosed with cancer last year, he said, "I have no fear." And you know, that's really powerful in my opinion. Sorry to get off track like that, but Chester Bennington will be missed. We love you, Chester. That's not the end of Linkin Park though. I still have some Linkin Park. Next up, I have 1,000 Suns. This is where you can definitely tell their switch to like more electronic, softer music. It's a decent album. It's not bad. And then Living Things. There are some good songs in here. Castle of Glass and Burn It Down are really good. And so is the closing track, Powerless. Next up, again, I've showed off some CDs I've gotten from the Metalhead box whenever I used to be subscribed to it. This is another one of those I haven't listened to, but it's called Last Reich, Sadism, and Severed Heads. And judging from the logo, they're probably brutal death metal or grindcore. Maybe I should check some of this stuff out, because like I did pay for it after all, to be honest, like through a subscription that I used to be subscribed to. But next up I have All-Time Greatest Hits, Lynyrd Skynyrd. So it's got like Sweet Home Alabama, Give Me 3 Steps, Simple Man. And then it does have Freebird, but it's the live version of Freebird, and I haven't listened to it, so is it superior to the original recording? Is it not? I'll have to find out. It's all opinion based too, so you know, there's no right or wrong. That's another thing, is that I hate when people, sometimes I'll say like this is one of the best albums, not like no opinion about it, it's a fact. I joke about that, and you know, obviously some people may not like an album, you know, that's fine. But I've seen people like on Facebook groups who are like, your opinion is wrong, and I'm like, you know that literally the definition of opinion is literally, the answer is not right or wrong. I mean, people are just dumb. But got Loverboy Classics right here. This has got Working for the Weekend, Loving Every Minute of It, which is my favorite song and my favorite album by them. Loverboy, some good old classic rock and pop music from the 80s. Next up I have Lenny Kravitz, Greatest Hits. You know what, really, I can't think of, it is Black History Month, I guess, so I guess I can mention this. I don't really see, like, or I don't really know a whole lot of, like, black representation in rock music, really. I mean, like, Lenny Kravitz, I can think of, Living Colour, who are most known for doing Cult of Personality. I mean, there's some old school, but, like, you know, when you're talking about, like, 70s to nowadays, not a whole lot that I can really think of. Like I said, Living Colour, Lenny Kravitz, I can't really think. Give me some other suggestions of ones, because I just can't think. And again, I said 70s now, so I'm not including Jimi Hendrix, because he died in 1970, so I don't count. But, yeah, I like Lenny Kravitz a lot. My favorite song by him is probably Fly Away. It's a really good song. Are You Gonna Go My Way is a really good song, too. Always on the Run. I heard that first on the Waterboy, and that song's really good. But I'm always on the run, always on the run. Next up is A Place in the Sun by Lit. I got this from my uncle, my mom's brother. He gave me like a bunch of these CDs, actually. But, I mean, they're a one-hit wonder. They're known for my own worst enemy. Maybe I should try to check out the other songs on here just to see if they're good or not. Who knows. Next up, I've got Led Zeppelin 1 from 1969. Good Times, Bad Times is a really good song. My personal favorite is the most popular on this one, Dazed and Confused. I just really like that bass opener. I'm an aspiring bass player. I've got my bass over here, actually. I used to want to play guitar, but it's really tough, honestly, and I don't think I have the patience. But bass is a lot easier, and bass is also fun. But, yeah, I love this album, and that album cover as well. Awesome. And next up, I've got Led Zeppelin 2, also from 1969. Definitely my favorite album by Led Zeppelin. Of course, A Whole Lot of Love is like one of the greatest rock songs of all time. You just can't not love that. then Robert Plant with them vocals. With a whole lot of love, you need cooling, baby, I'm not fooling. They're awesome. The Lemon song is really great as well. Moby Dick is a really good song as well. Yeah, Led Zeppelin 2 is just freaking awesome. Just good old classic hard rock, early hard rock. And then I got Led Zeppelin 4. Led Zeppelin 4 is a good album. One thing I will say is that it's a good song. But Stairway to Heaven is very overrated. Overrated does not mean bad, but I don't think it's as good as a lot of people praise it to be. It is a really good song. It's structured well. But I mean, honestly, it's just a good 8-minute long, like 8 to 9 minute long song. You know, I don't think it's like a masterpiece, you know, or whatever. But it's a good song. I personally prefer Black Dog and Battle of Evermore, personally. But if you like Stairway to Heaven, if it's your favorite song of all time, hey, I salute you to that. I salute to you to that. Sorry, I'm about to sneeze. Whew. Then I got Led Zeppelin BBC sessions, and I might as well show this real quick. If I can find it. Oh, okay, never mind. Okay, never mind. It's like underneath a bunch of stuff, and I don't feel like wasting your guys' time, but it's it's the Led Zeppelin. It's like a box set type thing, but it's like in like this. 2 of the CDs are missing anyway, pretty much. But might as well keep going. Next up, I have Meatloaf, Bad Out of Hell. A really good album. Meatloaf was phenomenal. Rest in peace to Meatloaf. This is actually one of the best-selling albums of all time. It's sold, I think, like 43 to 45 million copies worldwide. Like, verified. And that's the thing. It can be hard to verify sometimes, but that's just verified. It could have sold more. We never know. And then I got Meatloaf, Bad Out of Hell 2. Oh, should have mentioned favorite songs on here. The title track is definitely my favorite. Paradise by the Dashboard Light and Free Attitude Ain't Bad is also good. And Heaven Can Wait. And then on here, I'll do anything for love, but I won't do that. Is one of my all-time favorite songs. I just think it's like such a good 12-minute long song. And usually long songs, at least like that length, I can get bored of sometimes, or like can go on too long. Meatloaf, he takes that entire 12 minutes and he utilizes it perfectly. And his voice, like his best vocal performance is "I Do Anything for Love," and I won't do that. It's like just such good, like raw emotion, raw singing, very good. Also, other good songs on here is Everything Louder Than Everything Else is really good too. Wasted Youth. But yeah, that album is awesome. Next up, I have the soundtrack to Me, Myself, and Irene with Jim Carrey and Renee Zellweger. It's got like Foo Fighters and Smash Mouth, Third Eye Blind, The Offspring, Hootie and the Blowfish. Funny story, my mom actually met the lead singer from Hootie and the Blowfish, and she said he was a dick. Funny story. Next up, we get into one of my favorite bands. We got Kill 'Em All by Metallica. Favorite songs in here, Seek and Destroy is awesome. Metal Militia is probably my favorite. Whiplash, awesome. Pretty much, it's a solid album through and through, pretty much. Next up, we have my favorite album, which is Ride the Lightning. Freaking love this album. My favorite, I mean, it's got my favorite Metallica song, Fight Fire with Fire. And then the title track is awesome, of course, and Trapped Under Ice and Creeping Death. It has like one of the best guitar solos ever, in my opinion. And then, of course, For Whom the Bell Tolls is classic. I want to learn that on bass, but I want to get a wah pedal first. Next up is Master of Puppets. Probably the most popular album. And it's the fun fact, I don't know if you guys knew this. So the Library of Congress has like their own preservation system. They have it for movies, for books, and for music. Well, crazy enough, this is the only heavy metal album in the National Recording Registry. So they have the Library of Congress, and then they have the National Film Registry for film and TV, and then they have the National Recording Registry, where they preserve where they preserve music and audio recordings that are deemed culturally, historically, and aesthetically significant, I believe. But this is the only heavy metal album in the Library of Congress National Recording Registry, which is insane. More heavy metal albums need to be in there, but shout out to Metallica for getting in there, though. And of course, songs on here. The title track is amazing. Battery is a killer opener. Orion is like one of the best instrumentals of all time. Disposable Heroes. Even my least favorite song on here, Leper Messiah, is still pretty decent. Next up is And Justice for All. This is a good album. I mean, of course, I'm with everybody else. The mix is pretty eh. I blame James and Lars for that. They did Jason dirty. No bass, extra drum fill. Nonetheless, the songs are really good. The title track is really good. Blackened is really good. Opening track. Of course, One is a really awesome song. The Shortest Straw. It's a really good album. The only thing is that the shortest song on here is literally 5 minutes and 12 seconds. Like, it's a long ass album. Which doesn't make it bad either, by the way. I was just kind of making a joke. Next up is Metallica Black Album, and I do have a sticker on here as well, but it's on the sleeve. This is, you know, a lot of people say they went mainstream. Oh my god, they suck balls now. This album still rocks. Enter Sandman is a little overrated, but it's still fun to listen to. Sad But True, Holier Than Thou. My favorite is is Wherever I May Roam. It's just, that's like my favorite. Struggle Within is a really good closing track. That song I love, the Struggle Within. Struggle Within. I will admit, Nothing Else Matters. I'm really not a fan of it at all. I can go the rest of my life without listening to it. Not because it's soft or it's a ballad, it's just because it's really overrated. It's really overplayed. Next up, I've got Load and Reload. Got both of them. For those of you who don't know, this album cover, I believe it's a painting, but it's supposed to represent like fire mixed with jizz, I think. Really weird album cover. And then I got Reload. Combined, these albums are not that great in my opinion. I think between the both of them, there's only like 4 songs I really like. For this, like Ain't My Bitch I kind of like. King Nothing and I can't think. Poor Twisted Me. And then this, The Memory Remains and Fuel. Fuel is like one of the best Metallica songs, I will admit. But overall, the albums themselves are pretty eh, in my opinion. And then next up, I almost have all of Metallica's studio albums so far. I just need Saint Anger. That's all I need left. But next up I have Death Magnetic, and this is like a special version. This is actually the first Metallica album I ever bought. I bought it at a Comic-Con. But there's the things here, and then flip it open like this. There's the members, but like comes out like this, and the pages and stuff like that. It's really cool. This album is actually pretty decent. This was like a return to their roots, kind of. Suicide and Redemption's a decent like instrumental. All Nightmare Long is easily the best song on here. The End of the Line is kind of a little bit, but yeah, All Nightmare Long, that song is just freaking awesome. And this is the most recent to my Metallica collection. This is Hardwired to Self-Destruct. Not a super great album, but it does have a few bit of good songs. The title track Hardwired is awesome. Atlas Rise and Moth into Flame, Spit Out the Bone. All the other songs are just kind of eh. And then lastly, I got for the studio albums of Metallica is 72 Seasons. The only thing is that I'll go on a little rant here. So, you know, it looks cool to slip out. Look at the CD design. I got this from Walmart, might add. So you gotta open it like this. Then you gotta open this. And then you gotta open this. And then you gotta open this. I can't even open it. And then you gotta open this. And then you get to the CD. How crappy is that? Like, really, you have to make it that much of a pain in the ass. Like, I didn't even close it right. Darn it. But yeah, horrible design for this CD case. Album itself is okay. You can definitely tell that, like, they're definitely not the same anymore. And some of the songs on it were just eh. It's definitely a mid-album. And then, lastly, for Metallica, just stuff I have is Garage Inc. It's not one of their studio albums. I feel like a lot of people include it, though, but it is really good. It's just, you know, covers that they did or B-sides, kind of. But yeah, really good compilation album. And then we got one of my other favorite bands, also in my top 10 along with Metallica, and that's Megadeth. But I got Peace Shells by Who's Buying from 1986. This is like what put them on the map. This has got some previously unreleased bonus tracks though. This is part of the remixed and remastered, which I'm not the biggest fan of, but it's like some of the only versions you can find, at least that I've been able to find. But nonetheless, it's a really good album. Of course, the title track is awesome. The Conjuring, which Dave Mustaine notoriously like refused to play because it was like about black magic and he was a Reformed Christian. So I understand that, but it's a good song nonetheless. Bad Omen is really good too. And that album cover is awesome. And then next up we have So Far So Good So What. It's not a bad album, honestly. Into the Lungs of Hell is pretty decent. And 502. But overall, definitely the weakest out of like the out of like those like early albums, kind of like up until like Countdown to Extinction, in my opinion. Next up is the first Megadeth album I ever bought, which is Rest in Peace. My favorite album of theirs. Easily my top 10 favorite albums of all time. Of course, Holy War's The Punishment Due, one of the best thrash metal songs ever. Hangar 18 is awesome. Tornado Souls, one of the best guitar solos of all time. Five Magic, awesome. Just awesome stuff. Then this one isn't a remixed or remastered one, but Countdown to Extinction. This was kind of like their Black album where they kind of went more mainstream, but it's still pretty decent. Skin on My Teeth, or Skin on My Teeth. I say Skin on My Teeth, it's just easier for me to say. Symphony of Destruction is really good. Sweating Bullets is, I like to kind of laugh at sometimes, even though it's pretty decent. High Speed Dirt is probably my favorite song on here. A lot of people don't like Dave Mustaine's voice. I personally don't mind it. And then I got Cryptic Writings. This was the last album with Marty Friedman. Trust is a really good song. Sin, it's an okay album. It's like not great. Then I got Dystopia. I want to get like pretty much all their albums, but again, I don't really buy them online, and people like to price gouge and stuff like that online. But this album is awesome. The title track, The Threat Is Real, Fatal Illusion, The Emperor, and that's probably like, I don't know, man. That's probably like one of my favorite, like if not my favorite album cover from Megadeth. It's just awesome. Next up is Meredith Brooks, Blurring the Edges. Got this from my other uncle. Pretty much the only song I've listened, I know, is Bitch, pretty much. Next up I want to get more of his albums, especially the earlier ones, but The Golden Age of Grotesque by Marilyn Manson. I do have a sticker on this, but it's on the inside of the slip, so it's not on the like front cover. This is like, I think his only album he did with John Five, who's a really good guitar player. My favorite song on here, everybody talks about This Is the New Shit. That's a really good song, but Use Your Fist Not Your Mouth is awesome. I played this game back in the day. It was on PS2. It was a Spawn game, like the character, but in the opening like credits of that game was Use Your Fist Not Your Mouth. It's awesome. Next up, I have Mastodon, Blood Mountain. I want to get all their albums, but I only have 2 of them. But this is a special version that comes with like a DVD, like making of album documentary. But the opening track, The Wolf Is Loose, is like awesome. It's just so freaking good. Crystal Skull, Circle, Sasquatch, Colony of Birchmen. I like Mastodon. It's like a good mix of like I don't know, it's like a good mix of like progressive metal, a little bit of stoner metal, a little bit of like sludge metal a little bit too. Very good stuff though, and rest in peace to Brent Hinds. Next up is Mastodon the Hunter. This is like the alternate cover, and this is the deluxe version that also comes with a DVD. Black Tongue is a good opener. They choose really good openers. Like I said, The Wolf is Loose for like Blood Mountain, and then you got Black Tongue for the Hunter. Octopus Has No Friends, Stargasm, the Hunter, like the title track, really good. Next up, I have Too Fast for Love by Motley Crue. This is like a digipack version. I got this a while ago. I put them all on my shelf, but I keep the box, obviously. But it's Motley Crue, Crucial Crew, the studio albums from 1981 to 1989. So, like, the first 5 albums, it came in, like, this box. It's got all of them in the back there. But, they come in CDs that can fit well on my shelf, because that couldn't fit on my shelf, but I was able to fit the individual CDs. And they're not, like, thin, like, you know, those original album series where, like, they're thin cases like cardboard. These actually have, like, fold out like this, so I can easily put them on my shelf. But Too Fast for Love is a pretty decent album for a debut, especially with the money they had. I mean, this is the remastered, though. But Livewire is awesome. Take Me to the Top. The title track is really good, too. Next up, I have Shout at the Devil. You know, they were big in the Satanic Panic. You know, Shout at the Devil, even though it's Shout at the Devil, not Shout with the Devil. So, I don't know. People, like all those politicians during the Satanic Panic were really, really dumb, in my opinion. Talking about you, Tipper Gore. Jeez. Nonetheless, though, this album is really good. Of course, the title track is awesome. Looks That Kill. God Bless the Children of the Beast is a good song as well. Their cover, Helter Skelter, is not too bad either. Red Hot is really good too. Red Hot. Next up, we got Theater of Pain. It's definitely my least favorite of the original 5 albums, like the first 5. It does have Smokin' in the Boys' Room and Home Sweet Home, which are the 2 most popular songs of this album. City Boy Blues is really good too. And Raise Your Hands to Rock is also really good. Next up is Girls, Girls, Girls. Wild Side and the title track are awesome. Also, In the Name Of is awesome. And then they got Jailhouse Rock. Their cover Jailhouse Rock live. Spiced up a little bit. And then to close it off is Dr. Feelgood. Was the first album to go #1, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. The title track is really good. I like Rattlesnake Shake a lot. Kickstart My Heart. Same Old Situation. SOS. Yeah, really good stuff. I'm definitely a big fan of like the first 5 Motley Crue albums, or the Crucial Crew. The NSYNC self-titled debut album from 1995. Look how young. I think Justin Timberlake was like 14, 15 years old, sporting the ramen hair. But I do like NSYNC a lot. This has got Tearing Up My Heart, which is a pretty decent song, and I Just Want to Be With You. I'm a boy band fan in some regards. I only like a few of them, but that's like one of the few that I like. Big Time Rush is one of my other favorites. Next up, I got No Strings Attached, which is my favorite. Of course, Bye 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 and It's Gonna Be Me is awesome. But That's When I'll Stop Loving You is also really good as well. I'm just kind of trying to rush here because I still got a few CDs. And then I got Celebrity by NSYNC. Nirvana, Nevermind. If I personally had to rank the big 4 of grunge, #1 would be Alice in Chains, obviously, awesome. #2 would be Soundgarden. #3 would be Nirvana. Then #4 would be Pearl Jam. Nirvana is a little overrated, but I respect the hell out of Kurt for being how he was. Dude was a troll in his time. Next up, we have one of my all-time favorite albums, which is Pretty Hate Machine by 9 Inch Nails. Head Like a Hole is like one of my favorite songs of all time. Down in It is awesome. Sanctified. Something I Can Never Have. Just really good album. Really good mix of rock and electronic, industrial music. Next up is No Doubt Tragic Kingdom. good band from the 1990s. Obviously, Gwen Stefani was a part of it, which she became a good, like a very successful solo artist as well. And then there's No Doubt, Rocksteady. This album cover is pretty cool because I can interchange it. I can like, oh, I can have it be white or I can have it be black. Black's my favorite color, so obviously I chose for it to be black. Next up is another one I got from the Metalhead box a couple years ago, but this is Northern Assault, Canadian old school thrash metal compilation. The only names that I know on here are Razor and Sacrifice. I don't know any of these other bands on here, but thrash metal is like my second favorite genre of metal besides like traditional heavy metal. So I'll have to check this out. And I do like Canadian thrash metal like Annihilator and Voivod, Razor. Next up is Nazareth, good classic hard rock band. I have Hair of the Dog on vinyl actually. I'll do a vinyl collection video after I'm done with the CDs as well as cassette tapes. Next up is Oh Brother Where Art Thou soundtrack, one of my all-time favorite soundtracks. Just good classic music, like from the 1930s, you know, like in 1920s and 30s, like Big Rock Candy Mountain and You're My Sunshine. Next up is one of my all-time favorite, easily in my top 10 favorite artists of all time, Ozzy Osbourne, Blizzard of Oz. And I don't know if I've ever shown this in a video, but these are like these 32-bit remasters or whatever. But this is what the album covers look like. So the album covers look like this, but it looks really stupid in my opinion. But on the inside, they have the full album cover like this, so I just folded it out like this. And then I just put it back in here. And then if it'll go back in, hold on guys. And then it just has the full album cover and it looks a lot better. It's not just a square with Ozzy next to it. It's the actual album cover. So yeah, that's what I do with that. I'm gonna have to pan my camera over a little bit. Next up, I have Diary of a Madman. I did the same thing. I folded out the album cover to make it look full. This album is awesome. Freaking love this album. This is my favorite album, actually. Of course, the title track is really awesome. Over the Mountain and Flying High Again are also awesome. You Can't Kill Rock and Roll, which I love saying that to people. And that album cover. I actually have a pop vinyl, which, could I show it? Oh, I think I could show it. Hold on, guys. Oh yeah, I'm showing it, guys. Oh my god. Okay, here it is. I only spent 20 bucks on this on eBay, actually, funnily enough. But yeah, I have the album cover on pop vinyl figure actually. So it's got like Ozzy, like the pop vinyl figure himself, and then it's got the album cover behind it. Yeah, this thing is awesome, by the way. Yeah, this was something I like. I'll put that up at the end of the video just to get it after I'm done recording, just to get this out of the way. This one isn't a 22-bit remaster, but this is Bark at the Moon. I love that album cover. I even have a poster. It's not the album cover poster, but it says Ozzy Bark at the Moon. It's on my door as you enter. Funny story with this, my mom said whenever she was younger, I think she was 9 whenever this came out. Yeah, she was 9 in 1983. She was sleeping over at her dad's house, my grandpa's house, and he had this album cover like on vinyl and was just sitting on the floor, like it was kind of like pressed up, I guess, like leaning up against. And she was sleeping on the couch, and she said it was storming that night and it was thundering, and that the thunder flashed in on this album cover of Ozzy as like a werewolf, and she said it freaked her the hell out. But yeah, this album is awesome. The title track is a great opener, one of my favorite songs of his. Slow Down is awesome. You're No Different. And then it's got the CD bonus tracks, Spiders and One Up the B-side. So yeah, this album is awesome. And it was the first album with Jakey Lee. Next up is The Ultimate Sin. This album is awesome. Of course, Shot in the Dark is awesome to close out the album with. The title track and Lightning Strikes are also awesome. Another one of those 22-bit remasters where I just folded out the album cover so it's not just a square with Ozzy next to it. Next up is No Rest for the Wicked. This was the first with Zakk Wylde. And of course, Miracle Man is an awesome song, awesome opener. And this also has some CD bonus tracks, The Liar and then Miracle Man Live. Other good songs, Tattooed Dancer is really good, and Demon Alcohol. And then I've got, this is another one, 22-bit remasters, where it's not just a square, I just folded out. But this is No More Tears. This is my second favorite album by Ozzy Osbourne. I did a ranking video, actually, so you should definitely check that out. I did it a little while after he passed. Rest in peace, Ozzy. You were a legend. But this album, Mr. Tinker Train, and the title track, and Mama, I'm Coming Home, and Hellraiser, just awesome stuff. Then I got Osmosis. Not his best album, but it's got some really good songs like Perry Mason, Thunder Underground, See You on the Other Side's my favorite on this album. And then I got Ordinary Man by Ozzy Osbourne. Straight to Hell is an awesome song. Title track with Elton John is awesome. Under the Graveyard, Scary Little Green Men. Not the biggest fan of Take What You Want with Travis Scott and Post Malone, but it's fine. And then I got, unfortunately, his last album. I think he was actually planning on doing another album, like, after this one came out, but then he got sick, unfortunately, and then he passed. But this is Patient Number 9. And the title track is awesome, Immortal, and No Escape From Now and Degradation Rules. He had a lot of guest appearances on this stuff from other people like Jeff Beck and Tony Iommi and Mike McCready and Zakk Wylde, stuff like that. And then I got Ozzy Osbourne, Randy Rhoads tribute. Love that picture so much. And then I got The Essential, Ozzy Osbourne. Next up, I got Ozzfest 2001. This has got Ozzy Osbourne on, of course. System of a Down, Rob Zombie, POD, Drowning Pool, Edema, Black Label Society, Down, Hatebreed, Soil with Zakk Wylde, Flaw, Third Strike, Pulse Ultra, Il Nino, Meshuggah, and Andrew WK with Kelly Osbourne. So yeah, that's awesome. Supposedly Ozzfest is coming back, which I don't know how that's going to happen. Next up is The Offspring, Smash. This is the number one most best-selling independent album, because I didn't realize that they did this independently for a while. But yeah, sold over 11 million albums, and it was independently funded. Next up is Prince, The Hits 1 and 2. I do want to get some of his studio albums, like Purple Rain and stuff, but this is just what I got for now. Of course, it's got some of his biggest hits, like Purple Rain, When Doves Cry, Darling Nikki, Little Red Corvette. Next up, another one of those Metalhead box albums, but this is Puke Wraith, Banquet of Scum. I'm guessing it's going to be death metal, maybe. Porno Grind, who knows. Next up is Punisher, the album, like the soundtrack, the Thomas Jane version from the early 2000s, but it's got like Drowning Pool, Puddle of Mud, Nickelback, Queens of the Stone Age, Seether, Smile and Be Soul, Trapped, Yuck. So definitely some hit or miss songs in there. Next up is Getting Away with Murder by Papa Roach. Not really a fan of this album. I like Scars, but that's about it. The only album I really like by Papa Roach is Infest. After that, I'm really just kind of about them. But that was from my uncle, so I might as well just keep it. Next is Every Breath You Take, the singles by The Police. I love The Police. Awesome band. Sting is like one of my spirit animals. Next up is Greatest Hits by Poison. Probably in my opinion, the most overrated glam metal / hair metal band. They got a few good songs, so that's about it. Next up is the soundtrack to Pretty Woman, and Julia Roberts be looking fine in this movie. This is actually a pretty good soundtrack. It's got David Bowie, Gil West is on here. Next up is 10 by Pearl Jam, and what I like about this is I already have a poster hanging up, or not yet, but I'm going to get it hung up. But I had 2 records of this, so I just took out the other one. But the cover is actually a full-on poster, like that. But I already had another copy of 10 by Pearl Jam, so I just hung that up. I know I said Pearl Jam was my least favorite out of the big 4 grunge, and that is true. But this is the only album I actually like, to be honest. I'm not even a fan of Vitalogy, but this album is really good. Even Flow is my favorite. I like Jeremy, Black, stuff like that. This is the first CD I ever bought. So what I'm about to show you is the first CD I ever got, ever. But this is Panic at the Disco, A Fever You Can't Sweat Out. Good classic like emo music from the mid 2000s. Came out the year I was born, actually, I think. Yeah, 2005. Next up is Power Trip, Nightmare Logic, one of the best like modern day thrash metal bands. And this actually did come with a poster, which I have hanging up, but it also comes with the album cover stuff too, so that's awesome. But yeah, rest in peace to Riley Gale. He was such a good vocalist. But this album is phenomenal. Soul Sacrifice and Executioner's Tax, Swing of the Axe, the title track. This album is just perfect. Definitely my favorite album from 2017 and one of my favorite albums of the 2010s. Just phenomenal. Next up is Satellite by POD. Also released on September 11, 2001. I mentioned that earlier with Jay-Z, The Blueprint. But Alive and Boom and Youth of the Nation. I can imagine Alive and Boom were probably put on the blacklist radio songs. Can imagine. Next up is Pantera, Cowboys from Hell. Friggin' love Pantera, one of my top 10 favorite bands also. The title track Cowboys from Hell is just awesome, and the artist shredding is also really awesome. Demolition, or not Demolition. I can't think. Domination. Sorry, I just had a brain fart today. That song is awesome too. Cemetery Gates is really nice, like softer song, I guess you could say. But not really, it still gets heavy. Then I got Vulgar Display of Power. Of course, Walk is awesome. My favorite is Mouth for War, the opening track. Freaking awesome. Effing Hostile. Fucking Hostile. This Love is a nice, like, softer kind of song. Yeah, and that album cover kicks ass. Next up is Far Beyond Driven by Pantera. The first heavy metal, no, not the first heavy metal album to reach #1 on the Billboard 200, but I think the first extreme metal album to go #1 on the Billboard 200. By extreme, I guess groove metal is extreme because thrash metal is considered extreme metal. So yeah, the first extreme metal album to go #1 on the Billboard 200. Of course, 5 Minutes Alone is an awesome song, and so is I'm Broken. Then we got Peter Frampton Classics. I like Peter Frampton quite a bit. And to close off this video, it's going to be Frampton Comes Alive 2. Peter Frampton's a really good guitar player. Alright, that's gonna be it for this video. Sorry it took a little bit longer, but I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like, leave a comment if you like, smash the subscribe button. And yeah, I'll see you guys with part 4 sooner or later. Peace out.